This is Roy J. Akers with you from the Skyview Motorsports Desk. With me, NASCAR Insider Steve Schweitzer. And right now, we are going to be taking a look at Kansas Motor Speedway last weekend. And then we will go right to the All-Star race in this one. Steve, what did you think of Kansas Motor Speedway and another Kyle Larson blowout?
Yeah, he certainly dominated again. It was interesting though, he lost the lead in the final segment of the race. Um, uh, Chase Elliott was out front for a little while, and looked like he had a pretty good car. And as a result, he had problems on a pit stop. Larson got back out front, and that was all there was to it. I'll tell you, Brad Keselowski had a great run. I was really disappointed to see him end up with another DNF.
Yeah, and that is a teaser for, we're going to be talking about that in our second episode today. The average speed of the race last week was 130 miles an hour, but there were only 15 lead changes. I believe Larson led 3 times for 220 laps. At Texas the week before, we had a bunch of cautions, as you know, in the final 50 laps of that race. This one had a couple, and one of them did take out was Keselowski. That was a real bummer. I mean, he hasn't been up front very much this year, and it was nice to see him get there. It was also nice to see Chase Elliott in the mix as well. And, Chase, like you said, he had a couple of tough pit stops in the race, and that was a real problem for him. And that kind of took him out of the mix. And if you give Kyle Larson one little mistake, I don't care if it's you, the pit crew, the spotter, the popcorn guy spilling anything on the track, you give him one little opportunity, and you probably aren't going to get a second one.
The interesting thing I found watching the race, and we say this all the time, and fans may not understand, exactly what we're talking about when we say cautions breed cautions, but they ran, 2/3 of the race caution free.
Yeah.
And had, other than I think a tire issue in the first stage. And then, in the third stage, had a caution, another tire issue, and then, man, it was just one right after the other. And TV doesn't always do a great job of showing it, but when they have a caution and a restart, those guys run 3, 4, 5 wide because the cars are all bunched up together, and that's the best time to make up track position is, on a restart right after a caution. And they get running 3, 4, 5 wide, chances are good something's going to happen. And that's where that saying comes from.
Yeah, and I like what you said there, because there's side drafting going on with these cars, and it doesn't take a whole lot. And if one car gets loose, the chances are there's going to be 4 or 5 of them that they're so close together that there's just no way to get out of it for sure. And with that, Kyle Larson talked to us and the rest of the media afterward, and he talked about his dominance at Kansas and how his team is clicking on full cylinders.
I just think it's really cool. I think it's good for our team. I think it's good for our sport. I think it's good for racing, that the Cup Series point leader is competing in the Indy 500 for the second year in a row. I would say last year was a goal of mine. This year I didn't really think about it, but I do think it puts even more of a spotlight on us and our sport. So I do think it's really cool. And yeah, we had a great day. So great points day. And I look forward to next couple weeks and then actually getting to race 600 and hopefully having the point lead after that one too.
And so that when we return from the Skyview Motorsports Desk, Steve Schweitzer and myself, Roy Akers, we are going to be taking a look at the All-Star race in North Wilkesboro. That's for you next.
NASCAR but don't know who to root for? Toyota's got you covered. This guy went from dirt tracks to cup cars. This new kid is all gas, no brakes. And him, just a 3-time Daytona winner, no big deal. That's just a taste of our team of legends. Now you're up to speed. You in?
We are back. And Steve, the All-Star race, there's a big format change, a couple of them this year. And it sounds to me like a lot of people like it, some people don't. What says you?
Well, I think it's great. I mean, I'm really looking forward to it. They've added 50 laps to the race this year. They've gone from 200 to 250 laps. They have a competition caution at or about lap 100, which will give guys a chance to come on in and get fresh tires, work on their setup a little bit if they need to. And they've added a new wrinkle this year that I don't know. It has the possibility of making things really interesting. The promoter has the option to call for a caution anywhere between laps 100 and 220, unless a caution occurs between lap 200 and 220. That would eliminate that option. So you never know what's going to happen here. Things get a little out of hand. Somebody gets too far out in front. They decide, well, that'd be a good point to wave the caution flag, line everybody back up, and create some excitement.
Yeah.
Now, last year, Joey Logano led every single lap but one. And, I think the fans maybe were a little disappointed in that. The All-Star race is supposed to be a fun fan event, and this has the possibility of creating some real excitement late in the race.
And talking about real excitement in the race, we're going to talk about the pros, and we're going to talk about kind of a controversial opinion, to maybe some, but Chris Buescher, he's going to talk right now. Chris, changes in the format this year. What do you think about it, both good and bad?
The format we got coming, knowing we're going to have a caution in there at some point that we won't be able to predict. I mean, it's not that much different than stages, right? We know we're going to have cautions at some point. We know exactly when they are for all of our other races, but I don't think that it's ultimately going to change a whole lot, just given the tires, new asphalt, and what the race looked like last year. The groove did move around a lot, which I was pretty stoked about because we don't typically get that with new asphalt, so that was solid. I don't know what that unknown caution may look like. That they could have done it and said it was debris anyway. So I mean, it's just calling us something different now, but giving us a heads up on a debris caution ultimately, which is fine. That's going to bunch us back up and make some chaos there at the end. So.
Well, you heard from Chris Buescher. Now you're going to hear from Kyle Busch. He made a controversial opinion there, Steve. I haven't heard it. You have. What did he say?
I think most of the drivers are in favor of the format change, and again, it's supposed to be a fun event. If it were a points-paying race, that would be a whole different story. Kyle Busch called the promoter being able to throw the caution flag a circus move, a Barnum and Bailey move. And, again, this is fun. This is something that they do to entertain the fans. And no doubt about it, this is entertainment. This, it's racing, but this is entertainment racing. So I think it has the possibility of creating some exciting options late in the race. And Marcus Smith, I'm sure, who is the promoter, will pick the ideal time to wave that caution, and we'll see what happens.
I'm sure that NASCAR will probably have the golden buzzer, kind of like somebody. This would be the right time. I don't think he's just going to go, I hate me some Kyle Busch, and now's the. He's not going to do it. If he did, the way Kyle Busch is raced this season, we're going to talk about him.
There's a place no map will show you where GR cars turn into full-blown track beasts. Every apex we nailed, every second we shaved, it's all knowledge that goes right back into your ride. You in?
Comment was made by Kyle Busch, so you can take it under advisement, I guess, but saying it was kind of a Barnum and Bailey situation with the promoter being able to call a caution at certain points of the race. It's a fun race, or do you kind of wish they were doing it, they weren't doing it? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I have a hard enough time keeping up with all the different format stuff to, I guess getting to lap 220 and are we going to not have a caution or caution before that? Whatever it's going to be. I just do what I'm told at this point. I don't feel like I'm established enough to have that great of an opinion or have one that I think anyone's going to care about. So at this point, it's just trying to maximize the format, and that's really how I feel. And in some ways, I feel like I've had to do more prep work for this weekend than I've actually had to do for a regular season race, not because I want to win the race any more than the next, but just there's a lot of new things and a lot going on that you have to be prepared for and pay attention to.
And this is a great time to say this. You're going to be at North Wilkesboro. You're going to be having an outstanding time there. We're all going to be there, Bob, myself, you. We're all going to be in Charlotte, and that should be an exciting time. And so with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up this time. Steve Schweitzer can be read and seen in the Lasco Press. Tell us more.
TheLascoPress.com. Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Roy. Appreciate you having me on.
No problem. And with that, we will go ahead and tune it out for this time. We have another episode coming later on as we're going to be talking about Hendrick Motorsports domination. We also have Kyle Busch versus Brad Keselowski, who's going to win next, and a little bit more, and that's for you next time.